What happens to intimacy when you hit your 60s and erectile dysfunction hits back? Before we get started, if you're ready for an honest, compassion-driven talk about men's sexual health after 60, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you care about. Then drop a comment. Where are you tuning in from? Let's show you're not alone. Attention, grabbing questions. Before the introduction, have you ever wondered why intimacy can suddenly feel different even when love hasn't changed? Did you realize that by the age of 60, testosterone levels may have dropped by 30 to 50%, and that affects more than just libido? How would it feel to walk 30 minutes a day and boost both your heart and your bed performance? What happens to the brain-body connection when stress hormones take over? Aging doesn't mean giving up, it needs evolution. Think about this. Every 14 seconds, a man in his 60s visits a doctor about sexual health concerns. That's millions of lives quietly affected. But what if that symptom, erectile dysfunction, isn't the end? What if it's a wake-up call? Erectile dysfunction, ED, may feel like a silent wall stopping intimacy, but it can actually be a powerful door leading to greater self-awareness, healing, and reconnection with your body, your partner, and your life. If you're dealing with ED or noticing changes, comment where you're from. New York, Nairobi, Tampere. And let's remind you, you're part of a global conversation. This isn't about shame. It's about empowering thousands of men just like you to reclaim confidence, pleasure, and connection at every age. Part 1. What's actually going on inside your body? Question to retain attention. What if I told you that an erection is like a symphony, and just one section out of tune can silence the whole orchestra? 1. Blood flow. The engine behind the scenes, science. Sexual arousal triggers nitric oxide release, relaxing blood vessels to produce an erection. But aging plus conditions like hypertension or diabetes narrow arteries, like a garden hose with a kink, reducing flow. Evidence. Studies show men 60 plus with common cardiovascular issues are at much higher risk of ED. New insight. Think of blood vessels like city roads. If there's construction, cholesterol plaque, traffic, blood gets stuck, causing system-wide delays, weaker erections. Real example. When my dad stopped smoking and lowered cholesterol, his circulation improved, and so did his bedroom life. 2. Hormones. Testosterone's fallout. Facts: starting around age 30, testosterone naturally declines, about 1 to 2% per year. By 60, levels can be 30 to 50% lower than at peak. Effect. Low testosterone affects sex drive, mood, energy, and even bone and muscle health. Deeper insight. Lower testosterone doesn't just lower performance. It can fuel fatigue, irritability, and even mild depression. Example. Michael, a 67-year-old retired teacher, thought aging ended his bedroom life. But after discovering he had low testosterone and starting hormone therapy, he reported feeling 20 years younger and more intimate with his wife. 3. Pelvic floor muscles. The unsung heroes. Mechanism: strong pelvic muscles support erection firmness and control over ejaculation. Age impact. Without targeted exercise, these muscles weaken, just like quitting the gym. Evidence. Multiple studies demonstrate pelvic floor training improves erection rigidity. Real example. Men performing daily Kegels report noticeably stronger control and satisfaction within weeks. Part 2. The hidden power of the mind. Did you know your brain is your #1 sex organ, and stress can shut it down faster than any pill? 1. Performance anxiety, the saboteur mechanism. Anxiety raises cortisol, tightening blood vessels, lowering testosterone, damaging both mind and body. Evidence. Clinical trials confirm that even high expectations alone cause ED in otherwise healthy men. New angle. It's not just about the body failing, it's about anxiety hijacking the circulatory system. Tip: use breathing exercises before intimacy. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 6. Even 2 minutes can shift the nervous system toward relaxation. 2. Depression and emotional blocks. Fact: emotional low moods dampen desire, even when everything else is fine. Connection. Emotional availability equals physical availability. Emotions aren't optional extras. They're core parts of function. Example: a man recently shared how unpacking years of grief brought a surprise resurgence in desire. Proof that emotional clearing can reboot sexual vitality. 3. Relationship stress. Insight, tensions, even unspoken, create emotional distance that shows up in the bedroom. Evidence: couples therapy shows communication, and even walking together can dramatically reduce ED symptoms. Case study: a couple who began weekly walks and honest check-ins regained closeness and sexual spark. Part 3. What you can actually do. A multi-layered plan, action, steps to strengthen body, mind, and relationship. A. Physical health daily walks, 30 minutes. Boost circulation, heart health, and testosterone. Act as short bursts of cardiotherapy. Kegel exercises, contract pelvic floor for 5 seconds. Release, repeat 10 to 15 times, 3 times a day. Strengthens erection firmness and control. Nutrition. Follow an anti-inflammatory, libido-supportive diet. Leafy greens, beets, watermelon, pomegranates, salmon, and olive oil. Reduce sugar, processed food, and alcohol, which harm circulation and raise inflammation. Medical tests. Routine checks for blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, and testosterone. Total testosterone less than 300 nanograms per deciliter may justify medical evaluation. Example: Michael's simple shifts, walking, pelvic exercises, heart-healthy eating, revived more than sex. They revived his energy in marriage. B. Mindset and stress management. Deep breathing, 4-4-6 count, twice daily, especially before intimacy. Mindfulness or meditation, even 5 to 10 minutes a day, can reduce anxiety and cortisol. Therapeutic support. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is dramatically effective at reducing performance anxiety. Communication. Open conversations turn shame into teamwork. Example: one coach reports a client doubling his erectile function simply by starting weekly communication check-ins with his wife. Part 4. Proven therapies, modern and traditional. What happens to your bedroom life when you mix modern medicine with ancient wisdom? 1. Oral PDE5 inhibitors, e.g., Viagra, Cialis. How they work: enhance nitric oxide pathway, increasing blood flow during arousal, but do not cause arousal. Tips: use only under medical guidance. Don't combine with nitrates, heart meds, or high-dose alpha blockers. Evidence: approximately 70% effectiveness in age-advanced ED cases. Reality check: they help only when physical, mental arousal is already present. 2. Low-intensity shockwave therapy, LSWT. What it is: non-invasive ultrasound stimulates blood vessel regeneration in the penis. Evidence: randomized trials show up to 70% improvement, with lasting results after 6 to 12 months. For whom? Men looking for non-pharmaceutical, long-term improvement. 3rd, testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, forms: gels, injections, patches. Benefits: balanced hormones equals improved libido, energy, mood, and sometimes muscle mass. Caveats: must be driven by lab results, low testosterone confirmed, with ongoing monitoring, PSA, hematocrit, lipids. Risks: debate exists around cardiovascular and prostate health, requires informed medical oversight. 4. Acupuncture background, traditional Chinese medicine targeting vascular, nerve, and stress-related factors. Evidence: meta-analyses show significant improvements in ED scores versus placebo. For whom? Men open to integrative approaches and less reliant on pills. 5. Psychological counseling and sex therapy approach. Emotional blocks and relationship dynamics are addressed directly. Evidence: couples therapy effective even when physical causes are present. Example: one couple credited therapy with restoring their intimacy in ways a pill never could. Part 5. Real-life inspiration, Michael's 60-day comeback. Let's talk about a powerful real-life transformation, a story that may sound like something from a movie, but it's entirely true. Meet Michael, a 49-year-old sales executive, husband and father of two, who had been silently struggling with fatigue, low libido, and emotional distance in his marriage. Like many men, he brushed off the symptoms, attributing them to stress or aging, until a near-fainting episode at work forced him to get checked out. What followed was a 60-day health revolution that changed not only his physical condition, but also his emotional connection with his partner. Day 1 to 7. The wake-up call. Michael's journey began with a routine checkup that turned out to be anything but routine. He was diagnosed with stage 1 hypertension and significantly low testosterone, two often linked conditions that silently drain vitality and impair cardiovascular and sexual health. According to Dr. James Colton, a urologist specializing in male hormone therapy, low testosterone and high blood pressure form a dangerous loop. One worsens the other and increases long-term risk of heart disease and depression. Shaken by the diagnosis, Michael decided to act immediately. He began walking for 30 minutes each morning, a gentle but effective way to lower blood pressure. He also started doing basic pelvic floor exercises after watching a physical therapy video online. At this point, there were no major physical changes, but emotionally he felt empowered simply by taking the first step. Day 8 to 14. Surprising boosts in energy. Just 1 week into his new routine, Michael noticed something unexpected. His blood pressure readings began to stabilize, likely a combination of daily walks and cutting down on processed food. He reported feeling lighter, both physically and mentally. For the first time in months, he shared, "I didn't need that second cup of coffee in the afternoon." Experts confirm this pattern. Cardiologist Dr. Hannah Myers notes that even a modest increase in physical activity can lead to measurable drops in blood pressure and boost mitochondrial function, which translates to more energy. Michael's case was textbook. Clean food, fresh air, movement, and intention were starting to pay off. Day 15 to 30, sexual health transformation begins. Halfway through the first month, Michael intensified his efforts. He introduced a structured Kegel routine into his day. 5 minutes in the morning and evening, focusing on the mind-muscle connection. Simultaneously, he cleaned up his diet by cutting saturated fats, sugar, and alcohol, opting instead for heart-healthy options like salmon, leafy greens, and walnuts. These aren't just nice-to-have foods, they're critical for testosterone production and vascular health. By the end of week 4, he began reporting stronger, more reliable erections. This wasn't just wishful thinking, there's science behind it. According to Dr. Reena Malik, a leading men's health specialist, Kegel exercises can increase blood flow and strengthen the muscles involved in sexual function. Combined with a heart-smart diet, they create an ideal environment for recovery. This marked the beginning of real, measurable change in Michael's intimacy life, and his self-confidence surged along with it. Days 31 to 45. Testosterone therapy begins. Encouraged by progress but still feeling emotionally flat at times, Michael sought further testing. Lab results showed his free testosterone remained below the optimal range, despite lifestyle improvements. Under medical supervision, he began low-dose testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. The change was not instant, but within 10 days he experienced a noticeable uptick in morning erections, spontaneous desire, and an improved sense of mental clarity. His mood swings began to settle. He described this phase as waking up from a fog I didn't know I was in. His wife noticed too. He was more present, more engaged, and even started planning weekend hikes together, something they hadn't done in years. Psychologists say TRT, when carefully administered, can help men regain a sense of purpose and vitality. Michael's story echoes that sentiment loud and clear. Day 46 to 60, emotional healing and reconnection. The final stretch of Michael's journey wasn't just about muscles or hormones. It was about healing wounds in his marriage. He and his wife began attending therapy sessions together. What came out of those conversations was eye-opening. Years of emotional distance, unspoken resentment, and fears about aging had been quietly driving them apart. With newfound energy, confidence, and hormonal balance, Michael no longer approached intimacy with anxiety. Instead, he re-entered physical connection with his wife in a way that felt safe, playful, and mutual. She, in turn, felt desired again, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection. Outcome: I feel 20 years younger. At the end of the 60-day journey, Michael shared this. I feel 20 years younger, not just in my body, but in my spirit. I can look my wife in the eyes again and feel proud. His wife echoed the sentiment, saying their relationship had never felt more alive, more communicative, or more intimate. This transformation wasn't magic. It was momentum, a string of small intentional choices, guided by expert input, medical supervision, and emotional courage, led to a complete reinvention of his life. Michael's story proves that it's never too late to change course. Part 6, your blueprint to reclaiming confidence. Now start physical walk 30 minutes daily, do pelvic workouts 3 times a day, eat a vascular and libido-promoting diet, schedule basic blood work, BP, cholesterol, glucose, testosterone, manage mind practice daily breathing, 4-4-6, meditate or follow mindfulness guided apps, speak with a therapist if anxiety or mood issues persist, connect relationships, share what you're feeling with your partner without shame, plan weekly time to walk, talk, or laugh together, explore therapies. Try PDE5 meds under supervision with patience and proper timing. Consider Lee SWT for long-term results. If TRT indicated, pursue medical oversight. Add acupuncture or therapy as complements. Conclusion, summary, and call to action. Final summary: ED isn't a dead end. It's a doorway to deeper self-care, healing, and reconnection. A coordinated approach, body, mind, relationship, can substantially reverse symptoms. Modern medicine and traditional therapies each offer powerful tools. Before you go, your next moves. Hit like, share, and subscribe if you found this helpful, so more men can hear this message. Comment below, where are you watching from? What's one small step you'll take this week? Share this video with someone who needs the reminder. You're not alone. You've got options, science supports your journey, and healing is possible. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay connected, stay bold. See you next week, stronger, wiser, more connected than ever.